Hello, and welcome to the Fear Channel, a channel with regular broadcasts telling the most chilling of urban legends, ghost stories, and forays into the darkest corners of the human mind. Those faint of heart or prone to night terror should proceed at their own risk. Tonight's story is Occultism in the Nazi Party. The origins of occultism in the Nazi Party can be traced to the group of men who formed the organization known as the Thule Society. Named after Thule, a mythical utopian land thought to exist as part of Germany that broke off from the fabled continent of Hyperborea. The Thule Society was a secretive group of German politicians and socialites that followed a dark occult mysticism. Their group maintained the false idea that humanity's progress and salvation depended upon the purification of the Aryan race through eugenics. These people read many philosophical treatises, such as Petrovna Blavatsky's The Secret Doctrine, and misread much of what was written. In Blavatsky's writing, the Aryan race is supposed to refer to all human beings that exist during the current cycle on the Earth. By misrepresenting the material, German nationalist historians made arguments claiming that the Aryan race referred primarily to the people of Germany, but exclude those people who didn't have fair skin, blonde hair, and blue eyes. One of the Thule Society's early contributing members, Dietrich Eckhart, had a profound influence on fellow members, and particularly on Adolf Hitler. Eckhart was an occultist and an anti-Semite. Prior to joining the Thule Society, he produced a reworked version of Ibsen's mythological play Peer Gynt. In it, Eckhart replaced the trolls and monsters with caricatures meant to portray the Jews, effectively projecting the work one must do internally to fight one's own shadow externally upon an entire race of people, creating an us versus them mentality. Hitler was originally an initiate to the mysteries, and had worked positively to expand his level of conscious awareness. But any genius Hitler may have had was perverted by the psychopaths Hitler had encountered in the Thule Society, and later on as a member of the German Workers' Party. Eckhart would often refer to Hitler as the Great One, building up his ego by touting that he would be a savior for the German people. Eckhart impressed upon Hitler that he was the Übermensch of legend, and that it would be impossible for him to do any wrong. Near the end of his life, Eckhart is quoted as having said the following to fellow members: "Follow Hitler. He will dance, but it is I who have pulled the strings." Members of the Thule Society would eventually go on to form and become key members of the German Workers' Party, a political party that would eventually give rise to the reign of Hitler and the Nazis. These people weren't just delusional, they also had access to great powers, both mundane and supernatural. The story of Hitler and the mandrake best exemplifies this. The story of Hitler's mandrake begins during the December of 1932. Hitler was at a low point in all areas of his life. His girlfriend, Eva Braun, who would later be his wife, had recently attempted suicide. The political situation for the German Workers' Party was grim, as they were losing seats in the Reichstag, the German version of parliament, and Hitler himself was even contemplating suicide. When at his rope's end, he agreed to meet with an astrologer by the name of Erich Jan Hanussen. Hanussen predicted that within the next 30 days everything would turn around, but also plans to work some black magic to assure everything goes according to plan. The astrologer tells Hitler that there is a spell he can cast over a mandrake root, provided it is from Hitler's hometown. Hitler hires Hanussen to find a mandrake and create the charm. On New Year's Day of 1933, Hanussen presents the mandrake to Hitler. Around the neck of the mandrake is a capsule on a wire. Inside the bottle is some writing that details the workings of the charm. So long as the bond between Hitler, Hanussen, and the mandrake is not broken, Hitler will have great power and influence for the rest of his life. However, if the bond were to be broken, Hitler's plans would go well for 12 years and then fail. Within a month of receiving the mandrake, political negotiations put Hitler in the position of Chancellor of Germany, a turn that would have seemed entirely impossible just a month prior. Unfortunately for their plans, Hanussen was killed on March 25, 1933, as part of a Nazi crackdown on mystics and astrologers. Within 12 years, the Third Reich was crumbling, and on April 30th, 1945, Hitler committed suicide. Aside from the Thule Society, there were other dark forces at work in Germany that helped mold Hitler. One story tells of a mysterious Tibetan monk in green gloves who mesmerized Hitler and helped to mold his ideology. This monk, and many others like him, were from the Drukpa clan of Tibetan Buddhism. During the uprising of the Nazi Party, there were many occasions when these dark monks took to the streets and celebrated. During the height of Nazi occupation, in spite of the organized destruction and mass murder of non-Christian people, Buddhists were still allowed to practice. There are also some who say that the entirety of World War II was fought between the teachings of Gurdjieff and the black teachings of the rotten sect of Tibetan Buddhism known as the Drukpa clan.